Look around yourself. Go to the terrace and try to find out different objects in motion. We observe many things in our surroundings, such as moving people, moving cars and buses, flowing water in rivers and canals, fish swimming, etc. All these are objects which are in motion. Now try to find out some stationary objects, that is, the objects which are at rest. You may obviously point out to a building which seems to be at rest. The building does not move, so we declare that the building is at rest. The furniture inside our house also is at a state of rest. How are we first of all able to distinguish between objects in motion and those at rest? Are there any units or measurements to describe the motion of an object? If yes, what are they? We are going to quench all these questions with satisfying answers in this session. We will try to visualize motion of objects in the most interesting way in our journey through the motion series. It is now time for us to begin our journey trying to describe the motion of objects through different physical quantities. This is Shashank, and let's start our video without further delay. All the examples, such as a moving car, a flying bird, a gliding plane, flowing water in rivers, etc., point out to the motion of certain objects. We know that a building is stationary and thus does not move, so it is said to be at rest. We can determine the motion or rest of an object only by perceiving whether the object's position changes over time. A moving car traveling, suppose from our house to the shopping mall, changes its position gradually as time goes on. It firstly starts at the house, so its starting position is qualitatively the house. We observe that the position of the car changes as it moves. Its final position, where it stops, is the shopping mall, the required destination. Can we now derive an easy and simple definition to what is called motion? Yes. If an object changes its position with respect to time, it is said to be in a state of motion. Now think of a cardboard box on the floor. Does it move? No, obviously. The cardboard box has to be pushed to be moved. Thus, it is at rest and doesn't change its position over time. That is, when we take a look at the box at different intervals of time, periodically the box remains at the same position and we don't have to move our eyes continuously to see it. Now, can we also derive a simple qualitative definition for the term rest? Yes. If an object does not change its position over the passage of time, it is said to be in a state of rest. We have so far defined motion and rest in a simple way. We will next try to learn about the motion or rest of objects from a reference point. Let us now think of a passenger inside a moving bus. The passenger observes the surroundings outside. He sees that the trees on the roadside appear to move backwards in the direction opposite to the motion of the bus. Now let us assume that we are the person who are standing outside the bus and observing the passenger inside the bus. The passenger now seems to move and is in motion according to us. But at the same time, the fellow passenger observes that the passenger is at rest and perceives him not to move. It seems really confusing, right? We now cannot decide whether an object or a person is at rest or motion. A person appears to be in motion according to us outside the bus, but the same person appears to be at rest according to another passenger in the same moving bus. We can deduce from the above incident that motion and rest of an object are different when seen from different points. In scientific words, motion and rest are relative, meaning that we can decide that an object is in motion or rest only with respect to a particular point. Here, the passenger inside the bus is moving according to the outsider's point of view. Here, the outsider is called the reference point. So, we can say that an object can have different states of motion with respect to different reference points. If we go more deeper, we can understand that all objects on planet Earth are moving because the Earth itself is rotating about its axis. When an astronaut watches from a space shuttle in the outer space, he will observe all the objects on the Earth to be rotating along with the planet. but we don't actually consider the rotation of the earth while dealing with motion and rest in this module. Different objects follow different kinds of motion. Most motions are complex. Some objects move in a straight line while some take a circular path. Some move to and fro or vibrate front and back. Some objects move periodically. All these kinds of motions have different names. We will now get a deep explanation about the different types of motion. Rectilinear motion. When an object travels in a straight line, it is said to be in rectilinear motion. Simply, a car moving along a straight road follows rectilinear motion. Circular motion. When an object moves in a circular path, it is said to have circular motion. We will discuss about circular motion at the end of the motion series. All the planets revolving around the Earth move in a circular path and thus follow circular motion. Oscillatory motion. When an object moves to and fro rapidly, it is said to be in oscillatory motion. For example, a swing moves to and fro when pushed. It moves forwards and backwards, so it follows oscillatory motion. Periodic motion. Periodic motion is the motion that repeats itself on a regular cycle, that is, at regular intervals of time. A simple pendulum is a very good example of periodic motion. With this, we come to a conclusion of the topic, the types of motion. Motions, as we discussed now, are complex, and we feel it difficult to describe motions of objects such as circular, rotatory, vibratory and oscillatory motions. But you students are very lucky here. We are going to learn only about straight line motion or rectilinear motion in the whole chapter. We will learn further about how to describe motion using different physical quantities in the next session. Till then, stay home, stay safe and be hygienic.